Jimmy Carter once said, "We become not a melting pot, but a beautiful mosaic." Different people, different beliefs, different yearnings, different hopes, different dreams. In the same way, a classroom of children can be like a mosaic. Each child is unique, with his or her own interests, talents, struggles, lifestyle, family situations, and experiences. Most importantly, each child has his or her own cultural background, and it is necessary to consider this cultural diversity when teaching such an assorted class. This way of teaching is referred to as multicultural education. According to the Glossary of Education Reform, this term is defined as any form of education or teaching that incorporates the histories, texts, values, beliefs, and perspectives of people from different cultural backgrounds. Just as the definition suggests, children have such varying cultural backgrounds, and it is imperative for teachers to incorporate culturally relevant pedagogy or teaching methods that are relevant to the students with different cultures from that of the traditional American culture. Though the terms multicultural education and relevant pedagogy have been addressed, how can these aspects of teaching be incorporated into the classroom in a way that increases student interest? For example, can multicultural education and culturally relevant pedagogy be used to increase interest in social studies? Not only is it possible, but it is very important to use these teaching strategies to increase interest. Specifically, when planning a lesson, one could consider the research and purpose of multiculturalism and culturally relevant pedagogy, examples of social studies text and literature that integrate easily, and examples of integration in lessons in order to ensure multicultural education is alive in the classroom. There are numerous benefits to multicultural education, and its purpose is becoming more and more effective the more the concept develops. According to an article by Michael Vermeulen and Joachim This entitled Multicultural Education and Interethnic Attitudes, research provides evidence that multicultural education in primary schools can lead to more positive interethnic relations. In addition, teaching children about cultural differences and other more formal aspects of multicultural education stimulates more positive attitudes by improving children's understanding and knowledge. Ultimately, the primary purpose of multicultural education is to encourage children to respect the cultures and values of others. In the process of teaching students about respecting the culture of others, it is important to incorporate culturally relevant pedagogy. Students will not be eager to learn about various cultures unless it is relevant to their own lives. In this way, teachers must find a way to connect new cultures to all the students. It is very important for teachers to consider the use of text and literature when teaching about various cultures. First, teachers should consider incorporating textbook material into lessons. However, it is important to study the text as well as pictures to prevent issues of racism from arising in the classroom. Next, literacy, whether chapter books or picture books, can make an enormous difference in creating excitement when teaching about a culture. According to Jennifer Arellano in her article entitled The Use of Multicultural Literature in Elementary Classrooms, Teaching Acceptance and Understanding of Different Races, Ethnicities, and Cultures, she says, multicultural literature can assist in teaching literacy and assist students in learning more about diverse people and themselves. Furthermore, picture books offer the visual aid necessary for visual learners. Ultimately, incorporating both textbook material as well as literature significantly aids in teaching children about culture. It is also very important for teachers to effectively integrate multiculturalism in their lessons. According to Lai-Ping Wei in his article entitled Who and What Should We Educate Our Students to Be, there are 3 ways to move toward multiculturalism. Way says the first is to encourage students to challenge the concept of assimilation. Next, he says help immigrant students develop a positive self-identification. And finally, teach multiculturally rather than multiculturalism. With these in mind, teachers should begin integrating activities that reveal diverse cultures in order for all students to connect and learn more about accepting classmates despite differences in culture. Furthermore, it is essential to consider how to incorporate culturally relevant pedagogy or teaching methods. According to Cherry A. McGee Banks and James A. Banks in their article Equity Pedagogy, an Essential Component of Multicultural Education, equity pedagogy actively involves students in a process of knowledge construction and production. Basically, it's important to integrate activities that encourage students to build off their prior knowledge in order to create meaningful connections between what they know about their own culture and what they learn about new cultures. If a teacher recognizes the benefits of multicultural education and successfully incorporates activities that address multiculturalism, including cooperative learning activities, literature integration, and textbook information in a culturally relevant pedagogical way, then students should be very interested in learning more about the cultures and values of those around them. It all comes down to the pedagogy, the teaching methods. As long as teachers can connect information about cultures to time periods and events in history, then students will be able to make the meaningful connections necessary to not only learn about the historical facts, but also to accept the differing values of so many people today.